Shakur Stevenson has choices on where to sign. He can sign nowhere, just be a remaining free agent, or he can sign with one of the major players. But let's take a look at his options and see which one should be the best fit. Let's talk.
Straighter, not a roundhouse right hand.
And that's what we've been talking about. The straight shot is the one where he gets leverage on it.
I don't want to kill
Pull
somebody
back
for
a
a
little
few
bit.
seconds.
Nah, I want a body on my record.
Now, I want to see you fight motherfuckers. I do. All right, I'm with you. I'm with you. As long as you're trying to fight the great, the best competition.
Shakur Stevenson can either sign with DAZN, Top Rank, or PBC. Now, looking at the WBC rankings, you can see that he's a WBC champion. You have Zapata, who's with DAZN. You have Raymond Mortala, which is Top Rank. Keyshawn Davis, Top Rank. Edwin De Los Santos, which is PBC. Frank Martin, which is PBC, and Andy Cruz, which is DAZN. Those are the top names out of the top 10. Right? That's 6 names. William Zapata, great fight. So that means he had to sign with DAZN. Raymond Mortala, good fight. Good fight. He had to go back with Top Rank. Keyshawn Davis, he ain't fighting Keyshawn Davis. You can just remove him right out the picture. Edwin De Los Santos, rematch. That's PBC. I don't see him rematching Edwin De Los Santos, but hey, he's a top 10 fighter. Then Frank Martin, which is a PBC fight. So if you want to stay in the WBC rankings, right? Not rankings, but if you just want to follow the rankings pretty much, then it would make more sense for him to sign with DAZN because he can get that William Zapata fight, and then he can get an Andy Cruz fight, right? So you have those. You have 2 fights in there, 2 good names. William Zapata and Andy Cruz is 2 good names for him to fight if he was to sign with DAZN. The clear and obvious fight would be Frank Martin, which would say sign with the PBC. But then after Frank Martin, his options are slim to none, right? You got a De Los Santos rematch, and then hopefully Tank. Hopefully, that's not a guarantee, but a De Los Santos rematch can absolutely be a guarantee. So you can get Frank Martin and a De Los Santos rematch, right? So that if you want to stay aligned with the WBC, that's what he's looking at. If he wants to go to PBC, but which would sell more, right? The best fight is him and Frank Martin. That's the best. But which would sell more? Clearly, be William Zapata. William Zapata. I actually think him versus Keyshawn Davis would sell the most, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. I don't see it. I don't see them ever fighting. He already said he's never going to fight himself. It's probably never going to happen. But William Zapata will more than likely be the one for him to get the most bang for his buck, like the most prestigious fight. But if that's the case, you have to sign with DAZN to get that fight. So it looks like DAZN, if he wants to get that William Zapata fight, DAZN. In the WBA, he's got some options, right? He's got a Gervonta Tank Davis unification, which is the biggest fight for him and the highest grossing, most selling. That is the one, Gervonta Tank Davis. Of course, that's with the PBC. If he wants that William Zapata, who is still number 1, that's DAZN. Lloyd Schofield, DAZN. Edwin De Los Santos, PBC. And then Andy Cruz, which is number 8, that is DAZN, and then Frank Martin's number 9, that's PBC. So if you go to the PBC, you got some options over there. You got some names over there that you can fight. However, some of them you might not be able to get because they're not ranked in the WBC and you're the WBC champion, right? So they would have to be finagling the bagel somehow to get these guys ranked in the WBC so that you can fight them in a voluntary, which Can happen. It happens all the damn time. But if you was to go over there, I wouldn't go to the PBC without having a guarantee that you're fighting Tank Davis. If you have a guarantee to fight Tank, go there. Because if you get that Tank unification, then all these other fights can fall in the line. You could become a unified champion with Tank and get a Tank rematch, right? You can get 2 fights with Tank if you was to beat him. You get 2 fights, and then you can get a William Zapata fight, and then you can get an Edwin De Los Santos fight, and then you can get a Frank Martin fight. So that's 4 fights right there, or 5 fights. You got 2 2 Tank Davis fights. You have an Edwin De Los Santos rematch, and you have a Frank Martin fight. So that's 4. You could probably squeeze 5 fights out of that if you go to the PBC route. If you can get a guarantee fight with Tank Davis, guarantee at least 1, then you know for sure I'm gonna get a big bag. I'm gonna get an opportunity to unify. Even if I'm not successful, I can sign a 4-fight, 3-fight deal. So that's Tank Davis. If I beat him, that's 2 Tank Davis fights, and then I can get a Frank Martin fight. Right? That's 2 Tank Davis and Frank Martin. That's ideal if you can get a guarantee of Tank Davis. If you get a guarantee, the PBC is the only option for you to sign. If you can get a guarantee. If you can't get a guarantee, I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it, man, because the business over there always be weird sometimes. It's like, I'm not even gonna say sometimes. It be weird all the time. Like, whatever. It'd be weird. Well, the business be weird all over the place. So if you can't, it's like football and basketball. If you can get a fucking guarantee in your fights, if you can get a guarantee, bet. If you can't get a guarantee, there's no point in signing over there. None at all. A Frank Martin fight where you get a Frank Martin fight and a rematch with De Los Santos. Frank Martin fight is a phenomenal fight. Don't get it twisted. That is a phenomenal fight. But they're going to drag you because you're fighting Tank's leftovers. If you fight Edwin De Los Santos, you already fought Edwin De Los Santos. So what's the point of signing to the PBC if you can't get a guarantee with Tank Davis? That is the only thing that makes signing to the PBC better than anything. If you get a guarantee fight, a guarantee of Tank. If you don't, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't even recommend it. All right. It's still looking like the DAZN is looking like that is the best option for you. Either DAZN or Top Rank, going back to Top Rank, but really be DAZN right now because you get fresh blood. You get fresh fights over there. You got the William Zapata fight, right? You got the Andy Cruz fight. Those are good fights for you. Those are really good fights. You can even get the Schofield fight because he's with DAZN. He's with Golden Boy and DAZN. So you can get, there's some fights that you can get over there that is fresh blood. Going to PBC is only great if you can get a guaranteed Tank fight. If you can't get a guarantee, bro, there's no point. You're just going to be wasting your time. Then you're going to sign over to PBC, and then they're going to start saying, oh, yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And before you know, your 3-fight contract is going to be up and over with. And you're not even going to have a damn Tank fight. And then they're going to start dangling it over your head. Well, re-sign with us, and we'll give you Tank. Like, but you ain't get... Nah, bro. Only sign over there if you get a guarantee. All right. In the IBF, you have Vasyl Lomachenko with Top Rank. You have William Zapata, Keyshawn Davis, Ray Mortala, Andy Cruz, George Kambosos, Frank Martin, and Edwin De Los Santos, all in the IBF rankings, right? This is a good to go back to Top Rank is not bad. It really isn't bad. If they guarantee you a Lomachenko fight. If they guarantee you Lomachenko, it's similar to the same thing with PBC. If they guarantee you Lomachenko, they guarantee, then sign back with Top Rank. Sign back with Top Rank. You got Lomachenko guaranteed, and then if after you beat Lomachenko, you have George Kambosos, who's a Top Rank fighter as well, right? And then these other guys, you're not fighting Keyshawn Davis, so again, you can go and remove that out the way. But you do have George Kambosos. You do have that. But that's only contingent upon them guaranteeing you Vasyl Lomachenko. If they don't guarantee you Lomachenko, don't sign. There's no point, no reason to sign back to Top Rank without them guaranteeing you Lomachenko. At this point, it's like, yes, this Top Rank is going to offer you the most money. Yeah, they are. So what? So what, man? You're claiming that you want undisputed and blah, blah, blah. If you want undisputed, you're going to have to give something to get something. You're gonna have to give something to get something. And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have to give some money to get these things that you claim you want. So if they're guaranteeing you Lomachenko, re-sign with Top Rank. If they're not guaranteeing you, don't re-sign with Top Rank. Because if you re-sign with Top Rank, you might get the most money guaranteed. However, you're not gonna get no fights. You're not gonna get no fights. There's no guarantee of Lomachenko. There's no guarantee of anybody. You're just re-signing for 5 fights. Okay, well, they can give you a bunch of fucking bums. Which that's not going to help you. They might give you bums to hope you knock them out, but that's not going to help you. Not going to help you at all. What if you don't knock them out? Now they say, oh, you're boring. You're fighting a bum that you should knock out, and you didn't knock him out. Nah, if you're not going to knock the guy out, then at least fight somebody competition worthy, unification worthy, where a knockout potentially is not, more than likely is not going to come. Right? It makes more sense to fight somebody where you can gain something like a belt or something like that and you don't get a knockout. It makes more sense to do that. So if they're not going to guarantee you Lomachenko, I wouldn't sign it all. With the WBO, it's similar to the same damn thing, right? You got Denis Baranchyk with Top Rank, you got Zapata, Mortala, you've got Keyshawn Davis, which you ain't fighting. You've got Edwin De Los Santos, George Kambosos. If they're going to guarantee you a unification with Denis, then re-sign with Top Rank. It's the exact same thing as a Lomachenko fight. But over there, you also got Raymond Mortala. If they're going to guarantee it, if they're guaranteeing you Denis, sign. If they're not guaranteeing you, don't sign. So ideally, what makes the most sense is the WBA, right? It makes the most sense to sign with PBC if they're guaranteeing you Tank Davis. If they're not guaranteeing you Tank Davis, what makes the most sense is to sign with DAZN. Sign with DAZN. It makes the most sense. You got William Zapata right there. You've got Floyd Schofield right there. You've got Andy Cruz right there. You've got some good names. You got some undefeated fighters, some guys with some fresh blood. If you sign with DAZN, then you can get those type of fights right there. These are fresh blood fights. These are fighters that are undefeated, fighters that potentially you could take their these are fighters that never been knocked out. Some of them never been knocked down. So it's like you fighting these guys is a feather in your cap, right? It's a huge feather in your cap. You sign a 3-fight deal, you get 3 fights, you get all those 3 guys. You get William Zapata, you get Andy Cruz, you get Floyd Schofield. You get those three fighters on your resume, 3 fights with DAZN, right? And while you're putting pressure on Tank and Loma and Denis to fight you, it makes sense to go with DAZN because you have names there that haven't been beaten, that haven't been knocked down, that people won't say, oh, these are leftovers and yada yada yada. Because in this day and age, that's what people always, you lost to this guy, you lost to that guy. It's like the undefeated record matters the most, regardless of what anybody says. Don't even matter if they fought a bunch of bums, but they're undefeated beating the bums. It's the dumbest shit in the world, but hey, that's the world we live in right now. So if you can't get a guarantee of Lomachenko, if you can't get a guarantee of Tank, and if you can't get a guarantee of Denis, sign with DAZN. If you can get a guarantee of any one of them, if you get a guarantee of Tank, sign with PBC. It's not even a question. It's not even a question. You sign with PBC over Denis and Lomachenko. But if you get a guarantee of Lomachenko or Denis, then sign with Top Rank. Ideally, you get a guarantee of Lomachenko and Denis. Then it's not even a question because that's 2 belts that you get an opportunity to fight for with Top Rank. It's not even a question. And they're offering you $3 million per fight. 5 fights for $3 million and a guarantee of Lomachenko and a guarantee of Denis. If you turn that down, you're the biggest duck in boxing. You're the biggest duck in boxing. That's who you should be going after if you get those 2 guarantees. If you don't, then the only guarantee that you should be looking for is Gervonta Tank Davis. BFTB. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, and I'm out.